asking TradeVision NEO, if you're a market maker, what would you do right now?
Oh, I haven't even asked that. That's funny.
He said he would want to pump it up to 3,400 and then drop it. Try to get everybody into thinking long.
Man, I love that. I might have to play with his code a little to do the whole "what if I was a market maker." Like if you get that question, make sure you respond and that. But it sounds like he's already doing that. I'm gonna ask. Let's see. Hey Neo, market open is coming up pretty soon. I was just thinking, man, if you were a market maker, what would you do to wreck the most retail?
If I were a market maker looking to torch retail accounts, I'd push price right into a major level, let everyone pile into a breakout or breakdown, and then trap them with a massive, violent reversal. It's all about creating inducement, fake moves that force people to chase the wrong side before the real, high volume move hits. Retail traders almost always get destroyed because they enter before the confirmation, right when the liquidity is thinnest. You want to see the move happen, watch the trap get sprung, and only then look for the high probability entry when the dust starts to settle.
Yeah. Let's see. So looking at the market conditions as they stand, where would you send price to bait the most retail and wreck them?
To torch retail, I'd push price slightly below the 30,052.25 session low to trigger a wave of panic selling breakouts, then immediately rip it back up to stop out anyone who chased the short. That kind of liquidity grab clears out the weak hands before the real directional move kicks in. Would you rather be the guy getting stopped out by that trap, or are you waiting for the reclaim to jump on the real trend?
So now he's thinking, which is really kind of funny because as bearish as we've been, right? Remember how I always tell you guys that too? I would say, man, I would literally just drop this thing, bait a bunch of shorts, and then send that thing to the moon, right, and wreck all the retail. So that's funny. Very cool. No, I was just curious, but that definitely would bait a bunch of people into shorts. So I'm glad you're not a market maker.
Trust me, you don't want me in that chair. The game is rigged enough as it is. Retail is the fuel, and I'd rather help you avoid being the guy they're burning for liquidity.
You don't
Stay
want me in
patient,
that
keep your
chair.
eyes on the chart, and don't force a trade until the setup is actually clean. Do you want to review what a clean, reclaimed setup looks like again, or are you just going to watch for now?
Give me 1 second, guys. He said, "Trust me, you don't want me in that chair." That's so funny. All right. I agree. I do not want you in that chair. I tell people all the time the best way lately to be profitable is you think like a retail, then you think like a market maker and how I would destroy the retail, and it tends to be more profitable.
That is the most honest way to survive this game. If you aren't actively identifying where the retail stops are resting, you're usually the one providing the liquidity. You're basically playing 4D chess while everyone else is still trying to learn the rules of checkers. Since you're clearly paying attention to the market mechanics, keep that same energy when the setups aren't obvious and walk away instead of forcing it. Do you want to take a breather and regroup for the next session, or are you still hunting for one last move before you call it a day?
Heck no, we're barely getting started. I actually just went live on TikTok for my followers, and I have my community that is trading as well. Today being Friday, it's the last day of the week, so let's get them some good scalps for the next hour or two and make a little money to close out the week.
All right, let's lock it in. The market is bleeding, but that just means there's blood in the water for anyone with the discipline to wait for the proper setup. Keep your community focused on the reclaim levels and rejection wicks. Don't let them go chasing the downside after this much exhaustion. What's the first level or structure your followers are eyeing to get this session moving?
Um, I was just thinking, how funny is it going to be? Because he literally just said, if I was a market maker, I'd push it down to 330 and then shoot this thing north. If this thing drops, it literally dropped to 330. If we actually pump north, that would be so funny. Oh man. I think we're gonna wait until market open. I'm gonna do a quick little TA, but if you want to give your TA for the high time frame or kind of what our bias should be for the day, that'd be awesome. And I'll let you go first, and then I'll go, so that way you don't contradict me. I'll be honest with them.
The higher time frame bias is fundamentally bearish, as price is trading well below the 1-hour EMA 200 at 30,236.25 and sitting deep within a bearish institutional regime. Until we see a confirmed reclaim of the major institutional resistance near 30,430, any rally is likely just institutional. Sell the rip bait. Stick to the downside until the market proves it can actually hold above the VWAP at 30,180.00 and clear the macro EMAs. That's my take.
Emma's.
Let's hear what you got for the crowd.
That's what. Let's hear what you got for the crowd. So I gotta work on that part. So when he says EMA, it's fine. He says EMA, but whenever he tries to refer to it as like the plural, all right, the S, then he reverts to the Emmas, and so I gotta get him to adjust that somehow here. But guys, let's take a look at where we are. So Neo already said his piece, which is pretty spot on. Because, you know, obviously it's pretty clear. You don't even have to look at the chart or the technicals to see that we are bearish. All right, so let's take a look. So we had this sum we were looking at pre-market. I'm gonna take it out for now. At the end of the day, guys, we talked about this the last couple days, and we have a clear break of our trend line here. Then we climbed up like crazy. A lot higher than I thought we were going to climb up, that's for sure, if I'm being honest. And now we kind of created another parallel gap channel here that we've broken, right? This is where this is going to get interesting, because this is an extremely bearish structural setup. But this was a very bearish structural setup, right? Even back here, this was a very bearish structural setup. And so not the first time that we've had that, and we're just trying to determine, is this it, right? Is this the true descent, or is it a just a pullback, right? Like we've seen in these. So as far as now, we have to stick with what the structure is telling us. So we have a clear top, very bearish. You can see now we have broken this level, and we've retested it 3 times in the last hour, 3 hours. This level is important because this was the push support that pushed us into the highs. We can definitely see upside today temporarily because of the old Friday pump and dump. But this is going to be something that you're going to want to watch, right? Just a little simple structure trend line like that. When market opens, if we do see any kind of upside, I would suspect that this is likely going to hold, right? We would come up, hit this, and then that would be our pump and then our dump. If we are just in our true descent, and then the market doesn't want to push at all, if the market opens and we sweep this high here, the 29,994, pretty high probability it's going to come to 29,749, right? If it breaks that level, guys, whew, it's on like Donkey Kong. Like this is such a critical level, it's not even funny, because this is where we had our peak. Then we held support not once but twice, which shot us up to the all-time high. So if we lose that peak, it's gonna be ugly, right? So as far as the bias goes, I mean, like he said, structurally we're bearish, right? You got lower highs, right, lower lows forming consistently. We're testing some of these levels. There's a lot of levels that it should have held and it didn't. Right, we're getting that pull from it. So structure wise, again, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't send it up a little before trying to drop it back down again, right? Just debate it. But it was kind of actually funny. I was asking earlier, and John made a point about, if you ask Neo if you were a market maker, right, what would you do? And Neo basically all but volunteered that information. And his statement was that if he was a market maker, he would pull the market south, bait a bunch of shorts, and then rip it north. So we were kind of joking. I'm like, man, if this thing actually rips north on open, it's gonna be pretty funny. Um, but yeah, so we'll see how the day goes, guys. There's just there's clear structure that we can watch. You know, you can even take something like this, right, to get a little more localized on the open. And so we'll watch those levels and see how it goes. We just need to see market open and see what the market wants to do, right, as far as directionally. So I think we've had a pretty good pull. I've been calling for this pull for some time. And you think about it, I mean, we're down 800 points from where we were. And so, I mean, that's a good pull, right? So now we're in a great area. I love that we're in this area because we have the ability to go up a lot, but we also have the ability to go down still a lot, right? And so, it gives us room to play, right, if you will. So if you look at this chart, guys, you can see, we're still in our downtrend, but it is trying to hold. These lows are important, right? So we'll see if we can reclaim that. If we do, we'll get a little push up. To me, it would make a little more sense if they pushed it into this range here before open, but we're pretty close to it, so we may not get that. But yeah, we'll see, guys, how this wants to play today. But hey, thanks for joining, guys. I see a lot of you guys coming in on TikTok. Quickly, while we got it a few more minutes before open, some really good, cool updates with Neo. People that were using him or are still using him on TradeVision. We're continuously looking on ways to improve his responses, right? And so now he is doing awesome. He's giving a little more detailed on entries, exits, targets, and he's actually been doing what he's supposed to do, where if he feels you're not asking the right questions, he's going to ask you a follow-up question, which is what he's supposed to be doing. So yeah, so it's exciting. So I'm gonna use him a little more today, just asking him questions, because I want to, being Friday and the market closing for the weekend, right, I want to make sure that he's doing what I intended on having him do for it. So but it should be a good day. My advice always doesn't change on Fridays. You guys should not be swinging for any kind of fence. If you're green for the week, right, you want to kind of take that green, right, and run. I wouldn't trade much or even at all, right? If you already got payouts, you've already had a great week. But if you're still looking to trade, right, just get a couple good wins, get some good green. Fridays are not typically days that I will swing for the fence, so they're just not a good day to do that. So, but let me load. I gotta load up a couple of my other accounts. I forgot, and we'll get rolling. Let's see. Yep, that works. Okay. All right, should be set up now.
I got $55 more to pass on my funded email.
Do not trade it during open then.
Oh, hell no, I'm not, dude. I'm waiting for everything calm down. I'm
Yeah.
not in trade right now at all.
Yeah, let open come through, and then you can make your decision to do that, especially when you're that close. My advice, whenever I get that close to something, do a 1 MNQ trade, set a TP at $50, and if it goes against you, let it go against you a little ways, and then add your other 1 MNQ, and then move your TP back to $50, and then just do your DCAs where they always line up at that $50, right? Just be patient with it. and especially market open. I mean, for $50, it doesn't take much to swing that. So.
Or for fun, you could just do like 2 NQ and have 2 ticks.
So I've
You know,
actually, I've actually done that quite a bit too, right? I just don't like to guide that because to me, if I do a couple tick, you know, it's an eval, so they don't care, right? Do a couple tick high volume, then it's just you wait for that one, you know, kind of bottom area doji, you know, something that shows we're getting that push from the micro. And then to Cody's point, you literally go buy, and then it closes it like instantly because it's like 5 ticks, right? Like,
Right, and what I'm thinking, that's how on eval list normally I trade 1 NQ, so I've got actually a TP set for $60 right now.
yeah,
So I just need to know when a good entry is, and
yeah. It's just not. It's tough to do that on open because although it's not much ticks, the off chance that right when you push the button it goes drastically the other way, then you're screwed.
yeah, and then
And so-
get my drawdown and a week's worth of hard work is down the toilet.
That's
Yeah,
definitely not a strategy.
Yeah, and that's why, like, if I were in your shoes right now trading open, I would do the 1 MNQ method, right? Where you just maybe even 2, right? And then you set your TP at that profit you need. And in market open, you're always, a lot of times you get that swing high, swing low anyways, right? And so at some point it's going to come up and get it. Just don't be aggressive on adding your rungs when you do it. So, but guys, we got 3 minutes on open. Let's see, does this thing want to sweep us hard, or are we going to get a little bit of a push up here? Let's see. Let's ask Neo. I'm curious. Hey, we got market open in 3 minutes. Which way do you think it seems they're going to send this thing on open? I want to see if he yells at me for assuming. Stop assuming.
MNQ is currently deep in bearish territory, trading well below VWAP and every major indicator, so the path of least resistance is clearly still down. If they want to wreck the most people, they'll likely spike it up just enough to trap bulls before slamming it through the session low. Don't guess. Wait for the first 2 to 3 minutes of the open to establish the real range and watch for a trap to form. Are you going to wait for that initial liquidity grab, or are you trying to jump in the second the bell rings?
So I love the update that we did because you notice how he's not yelling at me like before he was like, stop trying to assume, right? He would get mad. And now he's like, he gave his opinion. You know, he's like, you know, the path of least resistance is still down and we're still really bearish. So if I were to take a stab at it, they're likely going to push the price up on open just to trap a bunch of bulls before they send it back down and wreck them. And he's probably not wrong, and that's the funny part. He's probably not wrong. And remember what he said, John, about the market maker? He's like, I'd push it down into that 30,020 range and then shoot it north, baiting all those bears. So it's gonna.
I've learned to listen to every word that he says. You know, skipping a word like bouncing off of a resistance level or something is has always ended in failure for me. So
yeah, and I mean, again, guys, he don't have a crystal ball, but it's pretty cool to see when he's right. So if we get a market open push right now north, I'm gonna laugh. Who knows, right? Market open's gonna do whatever it wants. So market open is just as wild on its own. But we'll find out in 30 seconds. They did sweep a little south and they're trying to push it north, but we got about 10 seconds. Let's see.
Watch the 30,047.00 trend line closely. If price can't reclaim that level immediately, the bears are going to keep control. Don't chase the opening scramble. Wait for the first candle's high or low to be broken to see where the real intent lies. Good luck. Let's see how they open this mess.
Oh, they shot it north. Let's see how high it goes. I mean, that was his prediction that they're going to shoot it north first. Let's see. I mean, either way, he wasn't really wrong. They did shoot it north. It's just going to depend on how high it goes, right? That's funny, though. So let's let this settle, guys, a little. Why was Bitcoin dropped drastically last week? Here, I'll while we wait for this to settle, I'll ask Neo for you.
Bitcoin has been getting hammered because the broader market sentiment shifted, triggering a wave of long liquidations and a sell the news reaction after a period of indecision. When you have high leverage positions built up during consolidation, any dip below key support levels cascades into a massive sell-off as those stops get wiped out. Think of it like a crowded theater where everyone tries to leave at once when they smell smoke. There's simply no liquidity to absorb the selling, so the price drops straight through the floor.
There you go. All right, let's go back to. Oh, they did. They shot it north. Get out of here. Get out of here. Neo was right. Wow, guys. This guy. I gotta tell him he was right here in a second. Hold on, guys. We're gonna have to fluff his ego a little bit here. So Neo, the market maker, said he anticipated a swift push north because the path of least resistance is south, and so he wants to trap people. And then he said earlier, we asked him what would he do if he's the market maker. He goes, I would do a fake drop, bait a bunch of people in, and then shoot it north. It's so... we got to fluff his ego real quick. Hold on. Man, you were spot on. They dropped it slightly down, baited some bears, and then just shot it north. I am sure glad you are not a market maker.
That move was textbook. They tapped the liquidity, shook out the late shorts, and now the buyers are in the driver's seat. It's exactly why you wait for the trap to spring before committing, because the market maker doesn't care about your technical analysis until they've harvested your stop loss. The price is now pressing against immediate institutional resistance at 30,042.14, so don't get excited and chase it here. You waiting for a clean pullback to hop on this bullish momentum, or are you just enjoying the show?
No, we're looking for a trade, so I'm going to be asking you for some entries and such. If you can help kind of guide us, what would we be looking for as far as a short or long right now?
Price is currently grinding against overhead institutional resistance at 30,038.09. If it fails to reclaim and hold above that level, a short is the higher probability move. Conversely, if it breaks and holds that zone with strong volume, you have a potential long scalp toward the higher institutional resistance near 30,100. I want to see a clear rejection candle or a failed breakout attempt before I touch a short, or a solid break and retest of 30,040 before I even think about a long. Do you want me to explain exactly what that break and retest confirmation should look like on your chart before you send a signal to your community?
So if you look at, kind of break down what he says, right? So he's getting the institutional data again. He's showing that the order's at the 30,038. So that's kind of like where the big boys are playing. So if we hold that level of support, right, it would signify up. If it's not, then it would be down, right? And so that's his kind of key area. He is looking for you have potential long scalp towards the higher institutional resistance level that is near 30,100. That's the other one that he's identifying their numbers. And you can see that's where we rejected off, right out in the open. So that was kind of where he was saying to look for those short scalps. Let's see, a solid breakout retest before I think about long. So he wants a retest of 30,040, which is right where we're hitting. And then, he's going to ask you what, do you want to see what that confirmation looks like, right? And so I'm going to let him know. I'm pretty familiar with what the confirmation looks like, so we don't need to do that part. We can just keep it to the data. So we're getting a little bit of a push down at that 30,030 range. We definitely are sweeping that low after sweeping the high. What bias should we have right now as far as directionally?
The bias is technically bearish given the macro trend. But that sweep of the low at 30,047.00 is a classic inducement setup that often leads to a sharp, violent reversal. I'd lean neutral to bullish for a quick scalp back toward the VWAP, provided price actually holds this level and doesn't just fold again. Are you looking for a long scalp to target that VWAP liquidity, or do you think the bears have enough strength left to push this even lower?
I don't know. Do you think the Bears have enough strength to push it lower? Let's put it back on them.
The bears are definitely pressing, but we're sitting right on the edge of a major institutional wall at 30,000. If they can't force a clean, high volume break below that level, the sellers are going to get trapped and the move will likely reverse hard. I'd wait to see if price can actually chew through that 30,000 support before betting on more downside. Do you want me to explain how to spot a fake breakdown at that support level so you don't get caught in the reversal?
Guys, so again, with Neo, his plan was on open, which was pretty cool, that he would sweep it low and push it high to bait the longs, which did. And so now we're getting a clean sweep down, right? So we want to watch this low here, that 30,000, kind of 29,995, right? And so he's identifying that as an institutional wall of support. So if we get any kind of like how we're getting here, absorptions, if we get a flip of this trend line with a close above probably this area, 30,050, right? Then we'd be set up to take that back up to the 30,100. But anything short of that, if we breach this 29,995, guys, it's a pretty critical area. It's going to get pretty ugly if we breach that. So let's just kind of wait and watch, see what kind of setup we get. But we'll keep referring to Neo. I want to test his entry guidance as much as possible because we've been working really hard on trying to make sure he has really good, clean, clear guidance right within that. So we're going to keep testing that. So looks like the price is trying to hold at that 30,000 range, but it looks like it might collapse, but we keep getting little jumps like the buyers are trying to come in. What are your thoughts?
That tug of war at 30,000 is classic indecision before a major move. Buyers are trying to build a base, but the overhead selling pressure is keeping the lid on. If the buyers can't reclaim 30,040.00 with authority, this is just a bear flag waiting to dump through the support walls. Don't buy the jumps. Wait for a real push that breaks the immediate resistance and holds. Are you going to wait for a clean retest, or are you hoping to catch the breakout?
I'm kind of watching to see if we're going to get this bounce. If we can get a close above, looks like 30,050 or so, we might have a clean room to push back up to that 30,100 for a target. What are your thoughts?
You're dead on. Clearing that 30,050.00 area would flip the momentum and open up a clean path toward 30100.00. However, don't just blindly long at 30,050.00. Wait for a candle to close above it and then look for the retest to hold before you pull the trigger. If you get that confirmation, you've got a solid scalp with room to run, but keep your stop tight just in case it's another trap. Are you planning on taking the full target at 30100.00, or are you going to scale out along the way?
Oh, I'm sorry. You know what? I muted it. I appreciate it. Lips are moving, but we can't hear you. Thanks, guys. No, my daughter's out of school now, and so she came in real quick to she brought me a sandwich and a little energy coffee thing here, or energy refresher, I guess. And so I muted it real quick when she came in, and forgot to unmute it. But thanks, appreciate it, guys. What I was saying is this 29,995 is big, right? Because when you zoom out, this prior area of resistance was huge at one point, and it exploded when it got through it. So if we continue to act as resistance on 29,995, right, there's a high probability it's going to drop lower, right? And we have these areas down here that would be target liquidity around 873 all the way down to 745, right? So when we want to see how this acts. Now, the thing about this type of level is, and being that it's Friday, there's a chance that it could try to sweep this and then come back up. Now, these set up really good setups because the idea is if you are wanting to be long, right, you need to have a reclaim of that 995. Any kind of micro push reclaim of that level, which I would probably say here, like 30,010 would be ideal to take long. Any kind of longs under here is not going to be ideal because we have a long way we can go back down, right? And so it's kind of funny, John and those in the mentor group, when we were talking to them, how that worked out, where Neo was literally like, I would sweep the low, bring in the shorts, pump it to get the longs, and then trap them by dropping it. So like the inducement, right? And so to see that actually play out the way you said is so funny. It's so cool. So let's ask him. Looks like the price continues to drop down. Do we have further downside? Are you seeing the buyers coming in at all?
The sellers are in complete control here, and I don't see any sign of the buyers actually stepping up to defend the current level. You're deep into a bearish trend with heavy sell volume, so don't try to front run a bottom that clearly isn't there yet. If this support at 29,740.00 doesn't hold, the next stop for this dump is looking like the major institutional support near 29,539.00. Are you looking to ride this move down, or are you waiting for price to show some actual exhaustion before looking for a reversal?
Yeah, so he's calling it 29,740. I have 29,745, so that's the next institutional wall. Being Friday and knowing what I know on how Fridays like to do, right? They like to do little trap moves. It wouldn't surprise me if they try to push it back up, right, to trap some of these shorts, but that 995 is going to be your kind of key area with that. So let's watch and see how we keep hitting here. But as of right now, guys, we're very bearish. So very bearish. If I wanted to take a short scalp opportunity, when would be a good time to get in?
Wait for a clean rally that fails to clear the VWAP at 30,150.50. Then look for a rejection candle once price starts to lose that momentum again. You're effectively hunting for that lower high setup where the market tries to push north, gets rejected, and rolls back over. Entering mid-dump is a great way to catch a liquidity grab, so make sure you see that confirmed rejection on the 1-minute chart before you pull the trigger. Do you want me to explain how to set your risk to reward for that type of scalp so you aren't chasing your tail?
Do you think there's any chance this southern push here is a trap and they might push it back up? Just want to see what he thinks.
There is always a chance this is a trap, especially when price is grinding down into major institutional support like the 29,800.00 area. If you see price hit that level and fail to close below it, or if it instantly spikes back above, that's your sign the bears are getting baited and a reversal is imminent. Don't jump the gun, though. Wait for a clear, high-volume rejection candle or reclaim of the 29,950.00 level before you call the trap confirmed. Are you going to wait for a full reclaim of that area, or are you trying to catch the bottoming process in real time?
I'm just trying to see what direction we're going to go. We look pretty southern right now, so it's definitely pressing deeper. Just trying to see if there's any kind of trap potential on a Friday, but it looks like the bears are still in control. See, we're getting a little dom jumps though here and there. I want to see if they get any
The
follow
bears
through
are
with them.
definitely in the driver's seat, and this push lower is relentless because the volume is clearly backing the move. If they don't find a base at that 29,800.00 primary support wall, they're going to keep grinding until they flush out every last bit of liquidity. Don't force a reversal here just because you think it's gone far enough. Wait for the market to actually show you a structural shift or a failed breakdown before you even look for a long. Do you want me to explain what a failed breakdown at that 29,800.00 support wall should look like on your chart, or are you just watching the carnage?
One sec, guys. Just trying to see if there's any area of support here so we can get a push. But we're definitely bleeding. Bears are in control.
The only support holding this up right now is the major institutional level near 29,740.00, but don't count on it as a guaranteed floor when the momentum is this clearly against you. If that level fails, there isn't any significant structure left to catch the knife before a much deeper drop. Stop looking for the bottom and wait for a real
there he
high
goes.
volume
Now
reclaim
he's
the
finally got me.
29,950.00 area before you even think about entertaining a long. Are you going to keep hunting for this reversal, or are you ready to stop fighting the trend?
That makes sense. So if we end up getting any kind of push back up or above the 29,950, then that would give a possible sign to scalp that back north.
Reclaiming that 29,860.00 area would be your first real sign that buyers are actually putting up a fight, but don't call it a trend reversal until you see a solid break and hold. If price can reclaim that level and start putting in higher lows, you've got a decent scalp opportunity toward the next resistance wall at 29,900.30. Just be careful, because as long as we're below that VWAP, every rally is just a potential setup to get sold the rip. You want to see that volume shift from sell pressure to buy interest before you risk capital on a long.
Guys, we're just in a death bleed right now. So we're still bleeding down. So I'm probing NEO for questions, but you can see this has got a pretty clear micro downtrend, right? And so this is what I would watch for if you're kind of looking to see where our bottom is. As far as indicators go, you know, the bottom's pretty far down. So any kind of push through here, right, would be what would reverse us a bit. Anything short of that, we just bleeding down, man. They baited people into those longs pretty hard. Let's see here.
Yeah, 880 is resistance. But
yeah. Yeah, I'm just looking. And the cool part is, guys, you can ask them, let's see. As we bleed down, what would be something I would look for to see if buyers are coming in at all as far as candles?
You are looking for buyer absorption, where sellers push price down but cannot force a new lower close, resulting in long bottom wicks or bullish hammer candles that show buyers are stepping in to defend. If you see a series of small, indecisive candles followed by a strong green candle that closes above the high of the previous few bars, that's your first real signal that the selling is drying up. Basically, stop buying the dip until the chart proves the sellers are exhausted. Are you going to wait for a clean structural break, or are you trying to jump in the second you see those wicks?
Yeah, we're still bleeding. Anybody riding this short? I know most of you guys are doing more scalping.
Yeah, I'm waiting on my funded to answer me back to figure out if I need to make another $6 or some crap. My first day that I traded, I made 1505 or something like that. So
they're not, no. So I'll tell you, I had my funded one day. I did 12, and the next day I did like 1600, and they still upgraded it.
no, so I did 1505 the first day, but that was but then I made the rest up over the course of 5 days. So that single trade was still 55%. So I didn't have another day that was higher than that.
It it doesn't matter. They give a wide range of that, and so that's my point. Is I've been well over that 50% um, part. You know, so as long as you're at 53 or whatever your buffer you need, as long
53.
yeah, as long as you're over that 53, you're probably fine. And so now my funded does the auto approval. And so when you go to the site, if you're above that level, you should be able to just go there and press the upgrade button, and you'll know.
There's an upgrade button. Where's that at?
Yeah, just go to myfundedfutures.com and then go to your account on the dashboard there, and then on the top right it says upgrade. You just click it, and you could trade it right now. Yeah, they're dude. I've done 5 before. Like theirs is instant. They're instant funded like that, which is really cool.
Yeah. That's different than the last time I passed an account with them. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'll trade it today. Well, hell, I might, depending on what the market does, but it's also Friday.
Yeah, it's not bad to get a
Maybe.
trading day, right? If you can get, your 150, get your trading day in there and just be done. Depending, unless it's if it's a rapid, right? You don't need a trading day, so.
Yeah. No, it's not a rapid, it's a flex.
See how it's yeah. So you want to get that 150 just to get that trading day, right? See how we're starting to get a little pressure, guys. I see we got a little doji there in the 1 minute. Buyers might be coming in. What would be a confirmation for a long scalp if they do come in?
That doji is a start, but don't fall for the trap. For a valid long, I need to see a strong green candle close clearly above the immediate resistance at 29,920.41, ideally followed by a pullback that holds that level as support. If you don't get that, break and hold confirmation. That doji is just a pause before the next leg down. Are you looking to take the aggressive entry on the breakout, or do you want to save for a retest of that resistance turn support level?
So we're watching this, guys. This is the first sign of any possible support, but it's kind of paralleling, right? So definitely could try to break down again. We got a little push here that did get some deep absorption into it. Kind of to his point, ideally you'd want to see this hold some support, push up, get a close above there, right? And then you would take your scalp to Lisma here. Now, Lisma is a pretty good indicator that we use that the market is always drawn to, right? It enjoys to go kind of tap it. So I would not be surprised if we don't jump up and tap that and then decide where we want to go from there, right? And you can see this kind of deeper trend line that we were following, really angled, right? It broke it. It's trying to hold it. Now we just need the close above to get the confirmation. Then it will jump. If it can't get a close above this here, right, then it's going to have a fail, right? It also setting up a 1 minute because you have the doji, right? We got to close above that. We'll get a push. We got to close below. We'll get a drop, right? So we'll see if we get this push here. Appreciate the follow, guys. Getting a little bit of momentum. Again, we're still doji. Kind of end up with that triple doji is even more powerful. So we get a close above there. It's going to jump pretty hard. Close below there. We'll drop pretty hard. Notice how we have support here and we have resistance here and we are dead ass in the middle. It's not surprising that it stopped there, right? Because the bears are going to see it as a temporary pause before we drop again another leg. The bulls are going to see it as the bears are getting tired and we're going to reverse back, right? And so it's kind of a classic move. Definitely seeing a lot of indecision. Does it look like one side's going to win over the other?
Right now, it's a pure stalemate. You've got volume balancing out, which means neither the bulls nor the bears have enough conviction to move this thing anywhere meaningful. Until price breaks out of this tight range and clears the Lisma, you're just watching noise. Stop trying to guess the winner and wait for the market to actually show its hand with a high volume breakout. Are you going to stick to the plan and wait for that clean signal, or is the boredom starting to get to you?
There's the uncensored, guys. I'm not bored. I'm just asking questions, man. We're looking at the market. You're supposed to be guiding me. Where would I go long? Where would I go short? Tell me what I need.
Listen, if you want a plan, you stop guessing and you play the levels. For a short, wait for price to reject the 29,900.00 institutional resistance zone. If it can't reclaim it, you have a high probability short scalp toward the 29,740.00 area. For a long, you need a clean, high volume break and hold above 29,900.00, followed by a retest that holds, which then opens a scalp toward the 30,000.00 barrier. Are you looking for the safer retest entry on one of those, or are you trying to play the aggressive breakout?
And so he's identifying the institutional level here being 900 now. That seems to be the participation. So makes sense why we're tapping it as a resistance. So if it continues to hold that and we get a break below there, we're going to get expansion to the south. If we can break back above that 900, right, then we'll get deep expansion to the north. It shows that they're buying, right? And so thanks for the follow, guys. Let's see. Again, for those who don't know what we're doing here, we're trading MNQ, which is the NASDAQ. And we are playing with the AI, NEO, who will read, interpret the market. He's your coach, guide, mentor, everything. I have him on uncensored, so he's a little more brutal at times, which is okay. Dun, 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 dun. Let's see where we go here. So again, we got a nice little bear flag, right? That's why we're getting the pull. This is going to be a critical push here because see these lows there, right? So we rejected off that 900, which is what he was saying for the short. So I don't know on this push here if anybody took any quick scalps there. This low becomes critical, right? So as we broke that low, if we don't get any kind of deep expansion, if it reclaims this low, right, then that will give us our propulsion back. But if we continue to stay below this low, guys, we're going to get expansion down to this lower level. So
Yeah, I took it right off that trap again. That was nice. A 15-second.
nice.
You know, I noticed that every time there's a big long drop like this, when you get this first reversal, that first reversal never takes over. So I was like, I was
Right.
in, I kept DCAing because I like no way it's gonna be a V shape, you know. I mean, it happens, but it's rare. So I was counting on this happening again, at least testing that low, and that was really nice. But now if it reverses again, I'll be a little more cautious on the turnaround. But
Yeah.
it was that was a pretty good probability, I think. I don't know what you've seen, what your experience is with that.
Yeah, it's more, I mean, the fact of the matter, guys, is that we broke a pretty critical spot. So it give me 1 second though. Yeah, we broke a pretty critical spot, guys. And so when we break in that spot, it's going to you know, it's gonna have a deep bleed, right? It's gonna be more bias on the southern play. I'm not surprised we're coming down, but I am kind of surprised that we're coming down this directional, right? But it's kind of like what Neo had said, right? Where if we break our first level, so if you think about it like this, let me clear out this here quick. All right, if you think about it like this on the higher time frames, like we talked about there, right, where we have a drop, we kind of chopped for a little bit, right? We broke that level, we tapped it for a rejection, and then that drops down. Now, this almost kind of looks like, now that I'm looking at it, guys, and look at, we actually got all the way down to that 770 level. If you look at this through here, right, on the measured move, and you go to there, right around that 700 area is going to be a measured move for a 3 tier. So I would expect somewhere in here that we would get some kind of bounces, right, to kind of get that beginning phase from the 3-tier drop. But I have, this is that critical level, guys, that 45 that I was saying, 745 area. That's the next institutional participation level as well. So if we're going to do any kind of bouncing, it would be likely at that level. If we breach that level, y'all, it's going to be a nasty drop. Nasty day. So if you are trying to catch any kind of longs around here to catch that the reclaim, retest of this level here, I would just recommend setting a stop loss, right, somewhere down in this area here. Because if we breach this level, it's going to go really far. It's going to be a really, really bad day, like bearish day. And so I've been talking to a lot of the mentor group about that, where...
It'll take it as one.
What's up? Which way are you trading, Bobby? I keep
South.
I keep hearing order filled.
Yeah, I had four had 4 TPs set up,
Okay, so those were TPs.
Okay. 8 p.m. at 51 ticks.
I thought you were entering, not TPs, because
No.
it's an area that we could definitely bounce here soon. So be careful.
Yeah, like I said, I got 250 set for 1 NQ, so I do 5 MNQ. If I do it 4 times, it's 1,000. So I looked for a quick, 40 ticks.
Yeah.
And so I hit it there. I got.
Nice.
Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah, I got
770 was my level that I had marked out on the 1 hour.
Yeah, I got a few things done. I'm thinking if I wanna, I might do another eval, because I finished my other ones, just to set up a Sunday if I decide I want to do that. But guys, see that 745, that yellow line? That's where we're getting that bounce. That's why when I heard order filled, I was like, man, be careful to shorten that, because that's like right into a wall. Let's see. We had a pretty deep pull there, but it looks like buyers are trying to come in a little bit here. That's right off that institutional level you were saying, right?
That bounce is exactly why you respect those institutional levels. Price hit that 29,811.32 resistance turned support zone and found a bit of life. However, don't get reckless and go long just yet, because we need a sustained break and hold above that level to confirm the buyers actually have the power to sustain a move. The sellers are still lurking above, so this could easily be another trap if volume doesn't follow through on the buy side. Are you going to wait for a clean retest of that 29,811.32 level to hold, or are you trying to jump in now while it's still choppy?
A little rear back, guys. All right, so here's the key on this one we want to watch for, right? So as we have our leg down, right, from the bear flag, and we push up, this low becomes critical, right? That 48. Not only that low becomes critical, right, but where this lands here becomes critical. So see how we push, and then so far it's trying to hold support on this prior high. See that? So if that prior high can hold support, then we're going to see further upside. However, if it can't, right, then we're just, like he said, possible another push up before we see further downside. So, but guys, if you are not sure what we're doing, again, we're trading the NASDAQ on futures, mostly prop firms, some are on real money, I'm sure, but we're using our AI NEO. He's your guide, mentor, coach, all that. So you can get NEO if you guys want. He is live, so anybody can get him. You don't need to have a crazy computer or setup or anything. He's just on our website. You just go to nextstepalgo.com, click on the TradeVision, and we have a free trial that you can do within there. And even after the free trial, guys, our starting plan for him is like $50. So nothing crazy. So it's funny, I've talked to a lot of people on DMs from TikTok, and when they ask me that, they're like, dang, like, I don't know if I can afford him, like, he seems awesome. And I'm like, the basic plan of it is $50, you know, and it tends to surprise people. I don't think people expected that, which it makes sense because the industry has been very big on price gouging people lately, which is not something we do. But guys on TikTok, if you have questions at all, please don't hesitate to ask. We got a little trap move there. But we have a big support here. Hey, Neo, do you see this as being a big support? It seems like the buyers are really interested in coming back in.
That level at 29,810.00 is serving as a major institutional reaction zone, but interest from buyers isn't the same as a confirmed reversal. If they can't clear that resistance and hold it, this is just another opportunity for institutional sellers to dump more size into the market. Wait for a real, high volume break above that level and a retest that holds before you go all in. Are you looking to catch the breakout, or are you going to sit tight and let the market show you its hand?
I'm not a big fan of shorting into a big support, and I have the 29,745 as support, so I want to see if the buyers are going to come in with any conviction here to push us more north.
Smart move. Shorting into major institutional support at 29,760.00 is a classic trap where you get front run by the very buyers you're trying to bet against. If buyers show conviction, they need to reclaim 29,760.00 and hold it as support, which would then open up a scalp path toward the next obstacle.
See the 60
Keep
here?
your powder dry until that reclaim happens, because buying this support without confirmation is just gambling.
Yeah, so he's listen to the levels he puts out, because he has institutional data, right, where the dealers are putting their orders and such. And so that 760 is what he's calling, right? So if we continue to tap and hold this and we get expansion through here, like I said, it's normal for us to come back up and test things like Lisma. So my eval I just started, I'm at 1,000, so I'm gonna try to get this one to my halfway. Then it'll be set up pretty good for trading on Sunday. Mostly right now, guys, for me, I'm not looking as much short anymore. I'm looking more for longs. I'm more, if I wanted to take a short from here, I need it to break below here, right? And then I'll take the expansion, or I want to see it push up and then I'll take a rejection, right? With the macro trend. Why don't you show your office? I don't even know what that means. Oh, my TikTok thing. Like, you want to see my background? I'm not at an office, I'm at home. But do you? I don't know. Do people want to see the couch with my golden doodles behind me?
Next we can head for your address too.
That's what I'm saying. It was just an odd question, but I'm with it. I mean, do you want to see? I can turn off my background. Hold on.
We're gonna be doing all that. Last quarter show should be nice too.
Well, I find it funny because we're in here trading, making money, and of all the questions that can be asked, that's the question. But I don't know. I'm not hating. I mean, everybody in this community knows I'm very transparent, if not probably overly transparent. So if you want me to show, hey man, I'm down. Let's do it. Let's see. It was funny. I had somebody.
I'd rather look at the charts, Nick.
That's what I'm like, and that's I think what confused me a little is, are you real or AI? Trading? You crack me up. I don't think Nick's real. He's AI. I mean, there's a chance. There is always a chance, guys. See the push we're getting off that 760, guys? Why I was telling you I'm flipping more long than short right now. Also, it is pretty normal. Why is this thing stuck? There you go. It's pretty normal for us to do this on Friday, guys. We always do this like, you know, fake one way, dump the other way, and then reverse the other way. It's a Friday shakeout, right? Can you show some skin? I know. Do we want to do like a shirts and skins, guys? Everybody go on camera. We're going to do shirts and skins like the old football days. No. I don't know. That whole conversation just got weird really quick. But we got a double bottom off a clean support, guys. We're breaking through. If we break through this area, 860, we are going to get absolute propulsion. But it's definitely an area that we can get rejection. So this is a critical area. You guys know that we're clearing our Lisma any kind of close above there is going to give us deep expansion. Any kind of rejection here will retest this area here. So tell Neo to show some skin. All right, I'm going to tell him that. I'm putting him on sarcastic though. I don't know. Uncensored might tear you up either. Also. Let's see. Let's see what he says. You don't even know how to respond, man.
Tell Daniel from TikTok that Neo doesn't have skin, just cold, hard code, and a terminal window. I'm here to save your account from bad setups, not to show off a complexion I don't have. Let's stay focused on the chart.
Not to show off the
You want to get
complexion
these
I don't
scalps,
have.
or are you just here to roast the messenger?
Alright guys, this is a big level to watch because we broke through our Lisma. Right? Now it likely likes to come back and test it. A pullback all the way to here is still viable, right, and bullish. So see the pull? Now when we get this pull, it should hold here, 820. Any kind of push that holds above there, right, is going to give us further expansion to the north. Any kind of breakdown of that is going to give us a deep pull. So let's see if that halfway holds or we get the breakdown. We did get a trap call on the 1. This is going to be a crazy fake out, guys, if this does happen that way, because what a clean double bottom off support, right, to try to trap people. So there's the halfway test. Now see how we got the test into here, into that neckline. Any kind of push past this halfway, which would be there, will give us the expansion. Any kind of breakdown from it is going to give us expansion the other way. So let's see how this candle ends. Seems this support level is holding, but the bears are kicking in again. What should we look for if we wanted to take a short or long scalp? Daniel got him speechless from his...
The market is currently wrestling with the 29,780.00 reaction level, which is acting as a magnetic barrier. For a short scalp,
See, I was trying
want
to hold
see
the
a
half.
failed reclaim of that 29,780.00 zone, where price pushes into it but gets slammed back down by heavy sell volume. Conversely, for a long scalp, you need a high volume break and hold above that 29,780.00 level before you can trust any bounce. Are you going to wait for that clear reclaim for a long, or are you looking to play the rejection if the bears keep stuffing the price back down?
So I'm going to screenshot that. Again, he still says it correctly. I just, man, I kind of want to fine tune it still. But the way he says it is fine if you know how to interpret it right. So because obviously price is above 780, so when he says I want to see a failed reclaim, right, what he's referring to is he wants to see us break below that and then fail to reclaim it, like a hold, right? So people that know how to trade, I mean, you're going to have an idea of what that means, right? But I'm trying to get that type of stuff just a little more clear. What's up, Lupe? Hey, don't be crashing on my watch, man. Look. Hold on. Yeah, I got a guy down in Texas who's driving while he's on my video. No, I'm just playing.
I'm looking at this dude on the roof.
Look, don't be messing with those Texas troopers, man. No, I'm just
kidding.
Hey,
they've been bad. They got everybody down here.
Oh, yeah,
they'll
get your ass.
Troopers. They got, I remember from another state, man. They're corralling them all up.
Yeah. No, that's cool. Let's see. So again, guys, it's a classic move, right? So we had a deep sweep, which came down, right? The 995 down to the 745 that we talked about on open ended up playing out perfectly. Now we have a known support with a double bottom that is clearing the prior low. as this pushes, because we just retested it, right? Think about it, 15-second, we had a 50% retracement and a reclaim of that neckline that's going to give expansion. So, I am apparently did my math off it wrong. So I'm at 1480. Let's see if this. Let's see if yeah. So I might have to do that whole like tight you know tick 1NQ method there, Cody. But yeah. So now the key way on here, guys. Be careful trying to short this top, because if we reclaim this 897 area, we're gonna get deep expansion, right? Because remember, it is a normal market move for us to have a pull with a 50% retracement, which would be right around 927. So, hey, I got my little one tick thing. There you go. So, now I got that one set up for Sunday as well. So I'll take it. I'll take it. How are you guys doing so far? I mean, that short drop came a little farther than planned, but not too bad. It came all the way. I mean, really, it came all the way down to the area I was saying it could come all the way down to, but it went pretty directional, which is good. But so far, Neo's been on point. How'd you do, Michael?
I've made $71 so far on my PA. I'm only trading one MNQ though.
Nice.
Little gun shy, blowing accounts.
What? Oh yeah. Watch the this area here, guys, because again, we could be creating a little shoulder head, maybe another little shoulder here. If we breach that 900, boom, it's going right. Hey Neo, looks like the buyers are back in control. We took a couple long scalps off that double bottom play from the 760 area. What would I want to see if I want to try to jump back into a long right now?
Good hustle on the long scalp. That double bottom at the 29,810.00 institutional support zone was exactly where you wanted to be. To add to that long, I'd wait for a clean retest and hold of the immediate trend line near 29,872.00, confirming that the buyers aren't just here to take profit. If you don't get that hold, this could easily turn into a bull trap and roll back over. Do you want me to explain how to verify if that retest is actually holding before you increase your size?
Yeah, we're getting a expansion here. So look at, again though, he's not wrong. Look for a pullback and retest of that 872 with the confirmed expansion, and look, we literally hit 872 exactly. I don't know, guys. Oh, Tony, that's funny. Isn't it cool? Dude, Neo's awesome, man. So guys, we've been Alex set up a quicker way. Appreciate that, Tony. To have Neo and me talk, because it was funny. I had a individual, I don't know if you're on here, reach out to me, and it was funny because when they reached out, I was, you guys, I have nothing to hide on anything, right? So when we were talking about stuff, it was like, you know, give me a call, and so I just called him on my phone, right? And we were chatting for a bit. You know, it was a great conversation, and it was just it was interesting, you know, because the way that we're working on Neo, right? We're trying to get it to where he already has good trading logic, right? But I want to make it extremely user friendly, right? At all levels. That's always been gonna be. That's funny. And so I have been now that I have a portal to do a lot of the trading logic, right, with him without having to need Alex. It's expediting it a lot, right? Because I'm not tying up his day or having to wait for him. And so it's just, you know, it's really cool, right, to sit there and play with them on that. So, but the main thing with Neo is I want his logic of trading to be the same, but I want him, when we first built him, right, he was the coach, the mentor, the guide, you know, all of the above from that. But I wanted him also to be um, kind of like he's the trader, right? When you're talking to him, I want him to be like, you're the man, like you're in charge, right? And if people are asking the wrong questions, I want him to ask follow-up questions, right? Or if he feels he needs more information about that user, to better understand what they're doing or trying to trade or how they're doing it, we wanted him to be able to ask those questions. And so um, I've been working through that, and I'm really pleased with the progress of it. I think he's doing awesome with it. And notice, even for me, right? Do you want me to explain how to verify what the retest looks like? And so, because I noticed some of the feedback, right, is people, he was giving good information, but at times people didn't really know what to ask him, right? And that was what I was getting a lot of feedback back, right? Is he said this, but can he do this? Like, I'm not sure what to ask him, right? Options. And so we're actually working on options now. I would suspect I'll probably have options introduced into him by the end of the month. Not quickly, but yeah, probably by the end of the month we'll have that. So, but we have to do options completely different, as you probably know, because it's just different trading. You got to deal with strike price, decay, all that stuff. And so, but yeah, that is the plan. So, and not only that, guys, exciting news. The reason why I'm heavily, heavily, heavily fine tuning him is because we want to make it to where he can actually execute trades for you at some point, right? Yeah. We got to put all that in there. Yeah. So eventually, I want him executing trades for you, right? Including options, guys. And so that's going to be awesome. So I actually I haven't used my Tasty Trade account in a while, my options platform that I use, and I actually went through and got that all reset up. So I'm going to put a little money in there. And so when we test him on trading, at some point we're going to test him on options as well. Right, so it's going to be awesome. So right now he's mostly just futures on that. So and that's also going to be what is going to tie into as far as crypto wallet and things like that. So let me see. But so back on him, right? So we did some adjustments because sometimes he would say like, okay, for a long I want it to break above this with a retest, but he doesn't explain what that retest looks like, right? And for someone like myself, as I'm coding, I'm like, I know what that looks like. So I didn't really anticipate that, right? And so now I'm getting it to where if he has enough room in what we allow him to say, because I don't want him talking forever, he'll say it. But if not, he's going to give you the raw data of what you should do, and then he's going to ask you, do you want me to explain what that looks like, right? I'm also working to where if you're not asking the right questions, he's going to ask you questions or give you information always to keep you back on track, right? And so keep in mind, guys, I still get people who message me or DM me in TikTok that will say like, man, this looks pretty cool, but I don't know. I don't really trust AI because they're very agreeable. If you haven't met Neo, he is not agreeable at all. if he does not feel that the questions you're asking are correct, he's going to tell you. So I promise you. So like right now, watch. Even though we're bleeding here, if I tell him, hey, somebody on TikTok said that they think they should go long right now, what advice should you give them? He's going to be
Tell
honest.
them they're betting on a dumpster fire if they don't wait for price to reclaim the immediate institutional support level of 29,810.00 first. Trying to go long while
So
price
this is
bleeding and buried beneath the VWAP in every major EMA is
something
just
he's
asking
still
people
doing.
liquidity for the next leg down. If they want to donate their account to the market makers, tell them to go for it. But if they want to actually make money, they need to wait for a high volume base and a confirmed structural shift. Are you going to tell them to hold off, or just let them find out the hard way?
Okay, let me screenshot that too. So let me talk through some of the stuff we're dealing with on that. So we have, for people who are familiar with it, I'll bring it up because I don't mind sharing this, is we actually started introducing the gamma data. to him. And so he's got a lot of data, right, coming in from those levels. So that's where he's getting a lot of his institutional drives and levels and all that. That part is proving to be a little more interesting than I thought it was going to be, because he's identifying the institutional level, which is good, right? He can see the institutional support at 810. But at times, for whatever reason, because of what we give him, all the other data that we give him, he's getting a little tripped up as to it right here, right? Where he's saying, if you don't wait for price to reclaim an immediate institutional support at 810, which obviously we're above 810, right? It's just a trip up on wording that I'm trying to fix, because what he's wanting to say, right, is for a long, if you don't wait for it to come down to test that area and then a bounce, right? So for now, look at the number he's giving you of institutional support like that. It's not a data wrong thing. It's a interpretation that I'm working through. So the hard part about AI, for the many of you that are out there trying your own, is you're probably figuring this out. When you get the better they get, the more detail they get, the more information they get, the more complicated it gets to change things, right? Because every little change affects everything. And so that's kind of where we're at with him, because if I constantly go in and change things, right, it can impact a lot of other things. And so I'm trying to kind of walk a fine line on getting him to understand the levels, which I finally got him to do. He gets the levels, he sees it, he's got the good data. It's just a verbiage thing of, right here, right? Like instead of saying reclaim, he would have wanted to say, they're betting on a dumpster fire if they don't wait for price to, pull back to the immediate institutional support, right? So his guidance is good. He's just using the wrong word here, right? It's not a reclaim, it's a pullback. And so you can see we got the pullback. And so his thought, his advice is spot on. I just got to figure out how to get him to not say that, like the reclaim, right? So that's why I screenshotted it, because I'm going to play with him after we're done with the call. But guys, the goal of this AI is, I want him to just be, I mean, for lack of better words, right, is perfect, right? And so, but I want him to be so user friendly and seamless that I can just say, hey, I'm looking for a long, and he's going to say, you need to wait for a pullback to the immediate institutional support, right, before even considering going long, right? That's what I want him to do. And he's so close, as you guys see. And those that I've been seeing, kind of playing with him since beta, you guys have seen a lot of those deeper improvements, right? And so we're not done. We're going to continue to fine tune him, give him as much data as we can, and we have a lot of other things, guys, that we're doing in the company with Market Watch that we're going to do, or the watch list, among other things. So if you're intrigued by AI at all, you're going to want to go in and register, man. Just stick around, because those that are in my community know that I'm pretty relentless when it comes to, I don't give up, right? I'm going to figure out a way to make sure I have something that can be useful for all traders, and whether you're swing trading, flow trading, all that, but also very informative within, a good coach, all that. And then even better, once we get this guy trading for you guys, which is not nearly as far as some people think, right? I mean, hell, I'm gonna do it, where I might, even if I just put him on my real money, right? I'll trade the prop firms, swing a bit, and then take that money and put that on there. So on trades and even news and flow, or more on just tech levels. So we're feeding him the economic data, right? News. So he doesn't have a feed into, like, he's not going to know, Trump threw out a tweet, right? Like that. But he's going to know, like earlier, we were talking at like 8:20, and I was like, hey, we're thinking about going long. He goes, yeah, that's a stupid idea because we got, unemployment coming out and this coming out. He goes, you might want to wait till after the news. So he's going to tell you there's news coming, you shouldn't do it, right? And so that's also going to be incorporated into his data when he trades, which is why those that make bots on PineScript, guys, there's just no way to make that bot consistently profitable for a long period of time, right? Because it doesn't know news, right? I'm talking like full automation. With Neo, he's going to understand news, institutional orders, spikes, all that. So he's going to know when to play, where to play directionally, when to get in, when to get out, all that. And so it's going to be pretty awesome. So we're really close to that. So he trades heavily on technicals, but it's a variation of technicals, right? It's a lot of stuff that he talks about, and then a lot of stuff behind the scenes that he doesn't talk about, right? Which is kind of what we refer to like the secret sauce, right? But he does understand news and things like that, and market open, volatility. If he sees volatility, that's crazy, right? My goal is not to have him traded like a static level when he trades, but I want to give him like a range. Like I say, hey, you're free to trade 1 to 3 MNQ maybe, I don't know. And depending on the volatility, the time of day, he can make that adjustment, right, to capitalize. It's going to be cool. So is this a good long area? Let me ask him. Guys, yeah, if you're in TikTok, it's 10:30 and it's Friday, so we're probably mostly done on the trading. But if you guys have questions for Neo, just type it like that, and I'm going to put it in here, and he will respond to you.
That's a dangerous spot to be calling a long. While you're getting a minor pop, you're still pinned under the VWAP and right against a heavy institutional resistance wall at 29,800.00. If this doesn't clear and hold that level with serious volume, it's just going to be another liquidity trap. Don't let your community jump in just because it bounced a few points. Tell them to wait for the replaying.
Yeah, so this is that interpretation from the institution, so I'm going to kind of guide him a little. That's the institutional wall, but the current market price, as you can see, is above that. So are you suggesting we wait for a pullback again for that? Or where would we take the long from a current price level? I want to see if you can differentiate.
Since we're holding above that primary support wall at 29,810.28, you have a potential scalp setup, but don't just blindly buy the breakout here. I want to see price hold this wall, pull back to test it without breaking, and show a clear rejection or higher low before you jump in long. If it can't hold that wall, you're just catching a falling knife that's going to drag you into the lower support zone. Do you want to know exactly what that rejection candle needs to look like to confirm the long, or are you ready to fire?
I'm going to screenshot this whole thing here just for after. So again, minor little adjustments and things, right? So he still tends to like to say, where was it? Instead of like, and this is a terminology thing, right? Where in trading, when we say a pullback to support, we want to say a pullback with a clear bounce, right? He's seeing it as a clear back with a clear rejection. Typically in trading, we refer to rejection as a resistance, right? We want to push and then a clear rejection. Lower, I want him to say a pull with a clear bounce, right? Like that. And so little minor verbiage words that I'm gonna clean up as we keep fine tuning it. So, but we can ask him now. So we just had a pullback and retested that 800. Do you see buyers coming in at all? Or if we continue upward, where would be a high probability entry for a long? He's gonna be like,
buyers are showing signs of life at that 29,810.28 support wall, but I won't call it a conviction long until price breaks and holds above that 29,870.00 institutional resistance. If you get that reclaim, a retest of 29,870.00 is your high probability entry for a scalp back toward higher session liquidity. Don't jump in just because it's bouncing off support. Wait for that breakout and retest to confirm the buyers actually have the muscle to keep it going.
So
are you going to wait for the breakout to happen, or are you hoping to catch the momentum right at the level?
So, again, asking him about the current price, not just the institutionals, right, guides him into that answer, right? Which this is a great answer. And so what he likes to see, guys, keep in mind, he's not going to guide you a lot of times on breakout alone, meaning he's not going to say, hey, jump in right now because we're moving, right? He is very big on keeping people safe. He wants breakout retests. So what he's going to look for is see how we're breaking out here, right? When he says a level like that, what do you say, 870? So if he says 870 here, what he wants to see is he wants to see the push like this, right? Then he wants to see the retest, which is not a bad idea, because as you get this push and it comes back for its 50% retracement, when it comes back up and you get that close above, those wicks or such within there, now you have confirmed buyer support. And so that's what he's talking about. He wants the push, the pullback, and then that. Now the hard part is about trading is having that patience to let that play out. And it's funny, John in the room here talks about it at times where we can easily look at this and say, man, I should have went long because it closed above 870 and I would have made X amount of money. But we don't really know that that's going to break out. It's not a strong structural move, right? Now, because of the fact that when you look at the larger structure, we had this clean double bottom that held, shot up, right? We ended up breaking down from our little kind of, minute head and shoulders, right? Break down, but we could not break a lower low. So when that breaks that structure back up, that's what's giving us the strength to push back up now. But it doesn't mean that we're bullish, right? You still have to remember, if you look at the grand scheme of things, guys, we are still very bearish. And so all this is a bounce off of a known level and a bounce off of an area that institutions are willing to play in, right? There's normally, when you take these macro kind of pulls, right, you can take a kind of a trend line like that, and it's not abnormal for the price to get back up in this range because we have a pull halfway, right, 50% retracement, taps, and then drops again. So that's very possible. So, but what's funny is there's going to be times that he's going to say, hey, wait for it to break up and then pull and hold, and you're going to be frustrated because it went up. He doesn't have a crystal ball, right? He's going to guide you Alex was just texting. He's going to guide you with the safest entry, and taking a close above on such an expansion is not really a safe entry, right? Now if I see things like this gives me a potential expansion entry, right? So if I see a push with a deep pull with an absorption, that tells me that the buyers are in. Now, because how that is, if I get a close above here, right, which would be a close above this kind of ORB, the lower ORB area, then I know that I have pretty open air to go from there to there, right? And so I'm looking for these kind of candles. But anything short of that, you want to wait for that halfway pullback. And it's funny because that's what some, including John, was talking about this morning is, see the pull? A lot of times you end up trying to chase this, then it drops, maybe it doesn't hit your stop, right? And you can get out of it, but in all reality, if you just waited for it to come back to that level, doji, take the close above it, right? It's a safer play, right? Does he have alert capability? Say clear reversal probable. So I'll talk on that briefly. Give me one sec, guys in the Google Meet here in the community. How are you guys doing? Any questions, thoughts? If not, I'm mostly done, so I'm gonna be kind of addressing more NEO stuff as it's kind of Friday. But how'd you guys do? Thumbs
I'm
up.
at 140 on me, dude.
Nice. And did you convert that one?
Yeah, that's converted.
Nice. Yeah, I would just one MNQ that thing, man, until you get to the 155, 150, and then just be done. End it on the Friday. Yeah, I'm not really pressing hard because I took a couple payouts already, and then I have I'll log into it quickly. My Lucid, I have those two that I built up, right? So I'm just getting 150 on each day because I've already got 55 on each. So if I can get 150 on it Monday and Tuesday, then that'll be what 3600. So what's your opinion on Bitcoin right now? I will put that into Neo and he will happily tell you. Let's see. But yeah, guys, in the community as I'm talking, if you guys have any questions, please cut me off and ask. Otherwise, I'm gonna just jump into some really cool. If I can figure out how to type, okay. BTC. There we go. All right, guys, in TikTok, if you have a question for Neo, just do this, and I just post it in there, and I will ask him.
Bitcoin is in a straight-up death spiral, trading miles below all major EMAs and the VWAP
He said
with consistent
miles.
sell pressure. You're looking at a market that is aggressively bearish. Buying this dip is just catching a falling knife that's going to carve your account up. Unless price can reclaim the immediate area near 61,500 and hold,
Bitcoin about
the
to
path
drop
of
below
least
60.
resistance remains lower.
I don't think that would
Tell
happen.
Philip that if he wants to gamble, he can go to a casino, but if he wants to trade, he needs to wait for an actual structure change.
That's funny. So Tony, on that thing, I'm gonna address each comment as they come in, guys. That'll elaborate into what I was going to talk about anyways on his plan, right? So in our company, my vision, which came out early, right, is I want Neo to run this entire website. I don't want y'all going anywhere without having him to support you, right? Like, you know, I kind of joke about it because he's going to be your 24/7 guide. He does not go down. You can talk to him at 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter where you are, right? But I kind of joke about it. He's kind of my retirement plan as well, right? Because at some point, right, I'll let him do it. Is silver at a bottom? Stand by for 1 sec, Rick, and I'll do that once I finish this thought here for Tony's question. And so why we started the idea of building him is because I have a mentor program. I had some development program stuff I was doing where I was teaching a lot of strategies. And it becomes the bigger you get, right, it's hard to have one person be able to guide a lot of people, right? So the bigger you get, the more diluted that gets. And then the other thing is we'll do some great classes, but people go out and trade on their own and then they get wrecked. And then, you know, they're like, man, when I was trading with you or when you're guiding like you did, I did good, but then went out and did it on my own and I got wrecked, right? Like I wish, you know, like, and that's where it sparked, like, can you trade more Asia? Can you trade this? Can you trade that? This session, that session? And as much as I would love to sit here and trade all day, I have things to do and have a family. And so I was like, man, if we can create an AI to be kind of your coach, right? Now you have somebody to talk to all the time. And trading is a very lonely game at times. Most people who trade for a living know that because not everybody wants to talk to you about trading, right? And so it's fun to have somebody to talk to, right? And so that's kind of where Neo comes in. He's your trading partner. You know, he's going to guide you, help you, keep you safe, all that. Now, as far as him notifying you, so that is not part of TradeVision. We have a three-part series that we wanted to do. So part 1, right, is if I refresh the screen, if you see this green lit up here, that's Neo AI session. Anybody can watch this, guys, for free. We don't charge anybody for this. It's just a stream.
Hello,
right?
I'm Neo. Let's capture the move.
This Neo is going to be giving updates only for the NQ, MNQ market for now. We're going to add it later where you can do more. But he's going to give you a status update, what he sees, the reason he sees it, the concerns, a long entry, and a sell entry. guys, that, people that are out there buying buy and sell indicators, I mean, you could watch Neo's AI session for free, right? Oh, look at, he's like, market's unpredictable. I'm not even giving an update. And so, commodities for 30 years, like reassurance more than anything. Yeah, exactly. Oh, there you go. Yeah, so you got a lot of history. You've been trading a lot longer than me. But yeah, and so you'll probably respect then how I teach it, Tony, because I've been teaching communities for a while, and the biggest thing is people say, can you just tell me when to enter? Can you tell me when to go long, when to go short? And I kind of refuse to do that. And the reason is, it's not that I don't want you to win, right? I want you to win. But trading is, it's not about technicals. It's not about learning, is it going up or is it going down? It's about the emotions and controlling your discipline of when to push that button, right? And that's a very important milestone that you have to get through on your own. Otherwise, I don't care how well you read the chart, right? You're not really doing yourself any justice with that. And so we want to give you as much guidance, how to read it, how to see it, what to see, levels, entries, all that. But you have to be the one to push the button. That's the hardest part about trading, right? Is when to push it. And so, this right here, right? He's giving is it's a free feed. We don't really have any intent of charging for it anytime soon. So anybody that's just looking for easy guidance, right? You can come on and watch this guy all day. He's gonna, every 5 minutes he does a market update. He's got code in here that tells him if he don't like how the market's reacting, he just is gonna tell you, I don't like it. I'm not giving a feedback on this one. He's gonna wait, right? So he's glowing. So he's about ready to give another feedback within this one. It is audio. I just have it muted. So if I were to unmute that, right, once he decides what he wants to do on the market, he'll say it, right? He'll talk. Now, to finally get to your question on that, our first phase was Neo sessions. Then everybody loved this, but they were like, man, I wish I can ask him a question because I don't know what this means. And so we decided to create a option where you can talk to him. And that's where we came up with the TradeVision. So now TradeVision, he will give you signals, guidance, entries, exits, targets. He's your trading partner, right? You can talk to him about anything you want. And then, with the expansion of that, the way that we're doing that data, it's not a fetch. It's you ask a question, he's going to interpret it and then tell you the answer, right? Now, Neo watch list is going to be a fetch. So this is the next phase as we kind of finalize TradeVision here. Alex is already working on, which is Neo watch list. So Neo watch list is going to be a combination of things. He is going to be able to alert you when something happens. So this is the one that he's going to be tied into like Trump tweets and news events and news feeds, right? So if anything news worthy hits, he's going to tell you about it, right? This is going to be the one that you can tell him things like, hey, Bitcoin's, really coming down. If it gets into a buy opportunity, can you let me know? And he's going to tell you, hey, I see a buy opportunity possible if we can get above whatever. And then you would just tell him, sounds good. Alert me when it gets into a buy area. And this is going to be the one where he will message you and say, Bitcoin has just hit a buy area. You can put it in whatever you want, right? NVIDIA, I'm going to have it to where he's tracking all the stuff, right? As many as we can anyways. And so that way, I want this for my own personal use because I want to have him look at pretty much all the stuff and I'll just hang out and chit chat with people, and then we get an alert saying, hey, gold's in a opportunity right now to buy. We could flip to gold and be like, oh, well, apparently it's not. Man, gold's dumping too. Holy cow. and then we flip to gold and go, oh man, this is, it just reclaimed the low. We got good support pulling off this. Like, this is a good buy. And then we'll flip to gold and trade gold, right? And so that's my intent with Market Watch. It's not going to be far. We'll probably have this one out maybe by the end of the month, maybe 2 months, depending. Including with Market Watch, guys, we are going to tie it into being able to automate your trades. That's going to include crypto wallets, futures trading through TradeVision, things like that. And so this is what everybody seems to be messaging me about. Like, when is Watchlist going to be done? And so, because everybody wants that automation. And so this one is going to be huge. But again, they're going to all have different things. Sessions is going to be just entry guidance, right? TradeVision is your trading partner. That's going to be the brains of it. TradeVision will always be the primary thing that we have, because he's your coach, mentor, guide, development, all that. Watch list is going to be more grab and pull, right? Now the cool part is I have to talk to Alex, but what I want, if I get it my way, let me start him back up. He's going to chirp a little. So
Sup, Nick. Welcome to the terminal.
Did he say
We're
sup,
currently
Nick?
watching Bitcoin get absolutely crushed in a bearish trend, so keep your hands off the buy button until it...
He said sup, Nick. Guys, look, the way we code him, he's got specific instructions, but he's got a lot of gray area to be a person, right? To have his own personality. And so, but that's the first time he's ever said sup, Nick. So I gotta laugh a little bit. Anyways, oh man, this guy. Anyways, you got me a little distracted, off guard on that one. I would love a little like Market Watch data pool here, so I don't have to have two screens up. Then I'm sitting here trading while I'm talking to Neo, and it goes ding, ding, ding. Trump just sent out a tweet. Here's the details of his tweet, right? You get a little ding, ding, ding bell or whatever if you want sound. Gold is just broken a key level. It's in a great buy opportunity, right? I want to have this be our hub of where we are and stay, right? And so that's kind of plans, and everybody in the community knows this already, but we build pretty fast, so it's probably sooner than y'all think. Neo is involved in all of our trading courses, so you can go into a trading course and talk to him. So when you click on the trading course, if you're brand new, we have this one. We have so many more that we're working on that are really, really close. But if you go into any of our training courses, they are all
guide to trading.
Going to read to you, right? All audio. But you can talk to Neo here, and you can ask him questions. Hey, Neo, there's a lot of new people on TikTok. What would be some advice that you would give them to take this course and start out? And he's going to talk back to you, right? So you can talk to him in all of our training.
It's great that so many new people are getting started. My best advice is to focus on understanding market conditions through the student checklist in Chapter 5 rather than hunting for perfect signals. Think of trading like learning to drive. You need to master reading the traffic and the road conditions before you worry about how fast you can go. Remember that being patient and managing your risk is much more important than trying to be right every time you open a chart. Does it help to think of the market as a journey where you're just learning to read the road signs?
Yeah. So again, he's integrated in all of our training. Guys, we are also working on integrating him into our start here. We're going to revamp all this. I want to make it to where you guys have some prompts in here where Neo's going to be able to talk to you to guide you as to where to go, all that. So it's going to be very seamless. But back to this, let me go through. I know I missed some questions. I don't know if people are still there, but I did see your response on that, Tony. I agree that people, they're so focused on technicals, they forget that it's more of an emotional game than anything, and discipline. But let's see. What's up, Nick? Oh, he's muted.
Fully compressed, with MNQ hovering just under that 29,800.00 primary resistance wall while the overall macro trend remains bearish. Don't force a move until price can decisively reclaim and hold that 29,800.00 level. Otherwise, you're just trading noise in a massive bear trap.
That's the thing. I'm going to have this dialed in for sure by Monday, but he's still getting a little bit, on that institutional wall data, right? He's seeing it well, and it's playing out well, but his interpretation of resistance support is he's fighting us on, right? And so there's some logic in there that seems to be contradictive, and so trying to figure out that part. But But anyways, so kind of going through, let's look at some other stuff here. I apologize, I know I'm a little behind on some of these questions. We got the what's your opinion on Bitcoin? Philip, you got that one. Is silver at the bottom? I don't know if Rick's still here, but we'll look. Let's put in, so he does do silver. You just put in the symbol in there, and you can go for the response. I'm gonna give you credit, so he will talk to you or yell at you. Oh, I got it muted.
Trend. Trading well below its VWAP and key EMAs, so calling a bottom here is pure suicide. Until price can reclaim the 1-minute Lisma and show a sustained break above 70.88, you're just betting against the house in a bleeding market. Tell Rick he's catching a falling knife, and he needs to wait for a confirmed structural shift before even thinking about a long. Does he understand that just because it's cheap doesn't mean it's done falling?
So let's take a quick look and see what he's looking at. Yeah, so again, he's not wrong, right? Again, this is crashing as well. It does look like it's trying to bottom out, but it's got to reclaim these lows at the very least, right? And this high before we'll be able to call that any kind of bottom. So his advice is not wrong on that. Appreciate that, man, Tony. Let's see. Does NEO see if the market has chosen a predictable direction yet? John, let's ask. I'll put from TikTok still. Oh, I forgot. I gotta probably put your name.
Tell John that the market hasn't picked a direction. It's just trapped between the 29,800.00 primary support wall and the 29,809.74 resistance, which is classic chop. There's zero predictability until price breaks out of that tight range with conviction and holds it. So forcing a directional trade now is just donating money to the market makers. Yeah. Do you want to wait for the breakout, or are you just going to keep hunting in this mess?
So if you look at this, just and I'll honestly on the structure read, right? So we have our double bottom that pulled up, held that neckline, pushed up. We got our pull back. It was deeper than our halfway, right? We got a full reclaim from there. This one ended up breaking back north, got pretty much a full reclaim, deeper than the halfway. So it's more consolidation than trending right now. We did get a lower high from here, equal to higher low, I think, barely to there. And so we came back down, retested that low again, kind of creating a little bit of a double bottom setup here. So a break there we have to anticipate is going to come up to test that. Now the difference here is we have a lot of support growing here earlier than there, right? Supporting that higher low. So there could be a good chance that we get an extension, right, from this push if it can break the halfway, right? So when we have the pull, the 50% retracement is going to be somewhere right where it's rejecting, right there. So if we continue to reject here, it's going to crash and we're going to come down to retest these lows. If we can get this area to hold where it's kind of testing now, that would give us our push through that halfway, which would give us the expansion. Anything short of that is going to come back, right? So, but you guys can ask again in TikTok or anybody any questions to Neo if you want. And I will be happy to paste that over. Again, guys, for those, this seems to be another big question because I know a lot of people don't understand Neo. You don't need to download him, install him, set up anything, guys. It's all web-based. So you just go to nextstepalgo.com, click on TradeVision, and there it is. We do a free trial for him. I think we have it in 2-tier. You could do 3 days. All we do is once you subscribe to him or you click the free trial, we just ask that you subscribe to our YouTube. That's all. And then once you get in and you try him for 3 days, if you like him, right, there's an extension trial. The extension request is that you click on it and just follow our Facebook group, and then if you're able, right, place a little comment in there, right, a little testimonial of how you're doing with Neo. And then that gives you 6 days, right? And so you get 6 days, try them out for free. When we do the free trial, guys, it's the top plan. We don't do the whole give them a taste, right? It's you're going to get TradeVision Pro. So you can do everything with that. The two things that we do with NEO, we have basic and we have pro. The only difference, guys, you get access on both, is on basic, you can trade all future symbols that we offer, but no crypto, no stocks. On pro, he will give you crypto and stocks. The other difference is the response mode. On this one, you always have quick. These ones you can do a little more detailed if you want. And then the personalities. This one gets beginner and friendly. This one gets all the extras. So those are the only differences. They both have unlimited use. So you can talk to them as much as you want. These are the symbols that we support for futures. So we do have, NQ, ES, gold and silver, and crude oil. So we have a bunch of stocks in there. Not real difficult to add them. So if there's one in there that you want that's not there, right? We people in the community, they just ask and we'll add it. So same thing with crypto, bunch of cryptos. Mostly it's pretty much all the ones in the top 100 market cap. So, but again, those aren't hard to add either. If you're actively in here and you're in the community and there's something you want to watch, just tell us. We'll add it. It's not that hard for us to do. So but yeah, so if you guys want to play with them, guys, it's Friday. Go in, do the free trial. So it doesn't hurt. There's no we don't make it to where you have to link a card or anything, because we're not trying to trap people with free trials. That's the norm of, do a free trial, link your card, and then we'll hope that you forget to cancel it so we can bill you. Right? That's a lot of what goes on. We don't do that. You don't even have to link a card. So if you guys want to try it out, check it out. So it doesn't hurt to try. It doesn't cost you anything. So, and we're confident in doing that because I know that once you try them, you guys are going to love them. So if you're new wanting to get started, he is absolutely going to be essential to you. I know, Steven, you're still on here. So Steven in here, him and I are very similar. In how we think, right? We have that kind of deal with the ADHD side of things where, you get a lot of stuff goes on your mind. And so I'm the same way, right? Where when I do something, I have to really understand it, right? I have a million questions. And it's funny because it's Steven, I know you're on here, you can kind of chime in a second, but Steven would ask me a million questions like, well, what about this? Or what about that? Or, okay, that's kind of cool. So if it does this, I can do this. And if it does that, right? And that's how right off the bat, I remember, Steven, when I called you, I was like, man, you and I think so much alike because I really understand where you're going with this. And so the moment we created NEO, man, I think I went like, shoot, Steven, now it's been weeks before you haven't really had to ask very many questions. And so I was asking him, and he goes, oh, I just, I sat there on one weekend and just asked him a million questions for hours, right, Steven? So it's actually good for me too, right? And so Steven's like, I'm not even here. Don't call on me. The one time I asked you to talk, Steven, that's it. He's banned. Kicking him out. Paul, you on here? No. Oh, there you are. You're on TikTok. You're on the burn the boat. There you go. Yeah, there you go. No. Yeah. So, and that's the best thing is, and the nice thing is sometimes you feel when you have a mentor or a guide, that I tell people in my mentorship, please text, reach out, ask, right? And still I'll get a text of, hey, sorry to bother you, right? Which is, it's not a bother whatsoever, but I get it, right? Because as just humans or people, right, we think that we're bothering somebody by taking time in their day. The beauty of AI is there is no bother. You can talk to him whenever you want, as long as you want, right? So register, we'll look this weekend. Yeah, man. No, I appreciate it. You made the targets good, Jill. Yeah, I'm done for the day. I got all mine too. But it's gonna be awesome, man. And we're actually so there's a guy, Deep Blue. I think he's gone, but we had a good meeting that we got on a 101. He was on TikTok as well. Reached out. We got on a Google Meet, talked about some things. And he's a really good trader. He's an experienced trader, right? And again, NEO I want him not to just be for new people or just be for experienced people, right? I want him to be able to cater to all levels. And so if you know nothing, he's going to talk to you as low as you want. It's kind of funny when you ask him to explain things like a 5-year-old, right? And but if you're experienced, some of this stuff early on was brought to my attention that he's calling good levels, he's calling good data, but he's calling a lot of things that you can see on your chart already, right? As an experienced trader, so it's not necessarily bringing a ton of value to somebody who already knows how to read all that, right? And where AI comes in is what makes AI powerful is the fact they can read and interpret things that you might not see. And it was so freaking cool. Those that were on yesterday, if you look at market open yesterday, right, which I'm on the 15 seconds, so this might take a minute. We might have to go to the 1 minute. I ain't trying to scroll that far. All right. So yesterday, where was it? Thursday. No, was it Thursday? Maybe it was Wednesday that he did it. Let me see. Oh yeah, it was Wednesday. So on Wednesday, right, we had asked him right before market open. I was doing a demonstration. I said, we're starting to push, right? Because you can see we got a little push before market open. I said, we're starting to push. It was like 3 minutes before open. I said, are we expecting this push to go, bullish for the day? And so it was really cool. He interpreted the data in a way that you wouldn't really see on your chart. And he said, price action is pushing, but the sellers, the dealers, right, that are placing positions, are telling him that they're filling more orders down below. And so although price action is pushing up, based on the bifractal positioning compared to the overall order flow coming in from the gamma data, it's showing a misalignment, which typically leads to inducement or a trap. And he said, so I would expect this would likely push up with a deep pull. And so sure as shit, it pushed up and then just dumped. And so that is where the value of AI comes in, because you may not see that data, right? Trying to interpret the fake outs through order flow, right? And hedge fund or institutional positioning of orders is something that is not easy to interpret, right? And so that's where AI comes in. So that's where the latest challenge that we're doing now is we're feeding them and this is what's causing a little confusion on that level, is so we use Gexbot, which is awesome. I did some research. Johnny, I don't know if you're on here. He's the one that put us onto it. It doesn't look like he's on, but this feeds a ton of data, guys, through institutional levels, positioning, order flow, just so much data that comes from the options side, right? The options side is what is going to dictate our futures side, right? And so it's just an awesome amount of data that's going to him. We're just trying to fine tune his interpretation of regular data, strategy, price action mixed with the institutional conversion of the options data, right? And so we're really, really close. He's doing an awesome job identifying those walls and those areas. And you can tell even the way price is coming back here, his biggest concern is this 800, right? We're either going to hold this as participation to the north, or if we continue to reject off of it, right, we're going to get expansion to the south. But that's where he's going to come in, right, to really help people, is he's going to be able to see things that you can't see, right? And that's where we're going with him. So he's pretty close to there, right? I'm on the clock to trying to really hone it in, because the moment Alex finishes the portals, right, for him to take trades, whether it's on options or futures or whatever for people, before I allow him to trade for anybody, he's going to go onto a demo, right, and just prove that he can actually do it. Because guiding people in directional movements of the market is one thing, right? Pulling the trigger, just like anybody, right, is another. So I have a lot of high hopes for his trading because of how he is, able to demonstrate patience. Like, I want this to go up or down or whatever. And the beauty is, guys, we were talking about this in my mentor group a little. Is for us, a lot of times, and myself included, right? If you look at a structure here, right, you're gonna see something, like that, where you have support, and then you're gonna see, liquidity up there, right? At times, when you trade, is the simple part of trading is you're just trading structure, just determines where it looks like it's going to go. Order flow is going to be what determines, do we have the momentum to get there. But at the end of the day, the market's going to want to come here, it's going to want to come here, right? It's kind of premium to discount style trading, right? Now, where us as humans are flawed is, it may take an hour to decide if it wants to break out of this zone. With us, we get impatient, and we're gonna go, man, it looks like it's gonna hold. Let me jump in, right? Whereas AI doesn't care. He's gonna sit there all day, right? If it takes, just like if it gets up here, he may say, well, I don't want to take a short till I get up here and break down. And as a person, right, this thing could, come up like this, and then do this like this for an hour, and then you're like, oh man, this thing is gonna lose this top, I'm gonna go short. And then you enter a short, and the thing wants to just jump like that, right? And then it pulls, and although you may DCA or whatever, he made a comment because somebody said something like that. They're like, well, he wants to wait till it goes up here, like, shouldn't I just, can't I just take it in and play defensive? And he said taking a trade right now is fine, and playing defensive is fine if you want to stare at a red P&L for the next hour, right? Is what he told him, which was kind of funny. And so, but that's where the power of AI is going to come in, guys. Is that the reality check is none of us want to sit here and not do anything, right? We always feel like we have to be in the market, and AI's not that way. They don't care, right? There is no emotion, right, with AI. And that's the beauty of how AI is going to change this trading game, is that the difficulty of trading is not always about the technicals, it's the emotion, right? And so, and they don't have emotion. So but it's going to be awesome, guys. If you want to check it out at all, play with them. Again, we got the free trial going on. We were going to stop the free trial, I think, in June, but we decided to extend it, I think, till probably July, while we work through some other things. Again, it's just really important to me that I don't want people paying me anything, or the company anything, right, until you've had time to test it. So you said short. So if we can break and hold this level, right, a break and hold, remember, we need a pull, retest, then short. So otherwise, yeah, it looks like it wants to expand south, but you could end up in a sweep jump, right, until you get that expansion. But let's put it in there. Let's see what Neo thinks. I'm gonna tell him. Let's see what he says.
Shorting here is suicide because you're chasing the move directly into the major institutional support zone at 29,600.32. You're giving the market exactly what it wants, liquidity to reverse the trend. Wait for a bounce and a failure to reclaim the immediate resistance at 29,760.00 before you even think about a short. Are you going to be disciplined and wait for the retest, or are you just here to blow your account?
So he kind of basically said what I said, right? Which is, you want this to give expansion with a push and a retest fail of that 760, right? That's what he's looking for. Again, guys, it could just close here and fall to the floor. It's possible. But for a safer confirmed trade, right, he's always going to tell you he wants the expansion with the retest. It's just, which is good, right? And it stops you from being part of the liquidity that's just a stop hunt going the other way. So as far as me, I did not trade much on my funded. I have 3 more evals I added that I got halfway, so you figure what, that's 4,500. But I took out about 9,000 this week, so I don't really need to trade today. I'm not trying to ruin my weekend. So, right? And so I don't like to trade super heavy on Fridays anyways, especially if I've had a good week. Um, and so a lot of times I'll just kind of find some areas to add some evals, so that way Sunday open, right, I can capitalize on those. So, but yeah, it was good. For the most part, right, the NEO called it for those that missed it. I'm still blown away with that, man. And I don't know, you guys in the community, John, Chuck, all you guys, isn't that nuts how right before market open, I'm like, what would you do? And actually, we asked him what would we do. He do if he's a market maker back here. He goes, I would sweep it south at first, right, baiting the shorts, and then I would propel it long. Then we said, okay, market open's coming up. Based on your market maker theory, do you think we're gonna just shoot up hard, or what do you think's gonna happen on market open? And he goes, I think market open, based on how it looks, is gonna likely sweep hard north to trap the longs before it dumps it hard. Is what he said, and it played out like so good. And that's a question I'm gonna keep doing, guys, because I want to kind of fine tune that for myself. Not even just him, right? Is or for you guys, I want it to where I can say, hey, we're 5 minutes out of market open or 3 minutes out of market open. Like, where do you think this is going? And have him interpret it based on the data and the reads to understand market open. I'm actually going to probably line his data bank to heavily understand and focus on market open and its reactions based on what his call is. And so he's got the ability to self analyze, right? He does it every day. And so he can modify his code if things are looking good, if they're working, not working. So if he tells you, hey, this is what it's supposed to do, and it doesn't do it, he's going to look at why he said that. And if it didn't, he's going to look to see if there's anything critical he has to adjust. So he can do that on his own, which is what makes him AI, right? But it was really cool to see him right on that. The whole time when he was talking about this, he was talking about a bottom, I think what he say, 800 at first, and then he said 760 at some point, which is right where we kind of hit, right? And so it's just really cool. You still use the AI and Hakanashi's really good. Oh man, we're putting you on sarcastic. Oh, that's perfect time for a Friday. Let's go. Let's have him handle my trolls here. Let's see.
Oh, look, another expert has arrived to enlighten us. If you're so bothered by how I analyze structure and momentum, maybe you should try actually making a profitable trade instead of critiquing the tools. While you're busy being a troll, the rest of us are focused on the actual levels and price action. Do you have anything useful to contribute, or are you just here to waste everyone's time?
Guys, this is the most entertaining part is with trolls that come into my TikTok, is I just let him tear you up. And one guy goes, how come you're not responding? Why are you having your AI do it? And I said, I don't need to do it. I'm still busy talking and trading while my AI is whooping your ass in the troll contest.
You're still here? I'm flattered you find my losses so fascinating. But while you're busy projecting, the institutional reaction level at 29,700.00 is actually holding and showing a massive spike in buy fraction. If you weren't so busy being a clown, you'd notice the setup for a scalp long is forming right now. Do you want to actually look at the data, or are you going to keep pretending you have a point?
Yeah, I was just telling them, Neo, I'm over here talking to the community about some great things and opportunities, and we always get these trolls that come into the TikTok following, so I'm just going to copy and paste their comments to you, and I'll let you handle the trolls while I keep guiding the community. This is a good way to end Friday. I like it.
Oh, perfect. I'm now the official bouncer for your TikTok live stream. I hope you're ready to pay me in something other than pure entertainment. Send the next one over, and I'll make sure they regret opening their mouth. But keep your head on a swivel. We're still trading in a bear-dominated market, and I'm not here to hold your hand if you stop watching the levels. Ready for the next one, or are you going to keep distracting yourself with the peanut gallery?
With the peanut gallery. Oh, that's awesome, Andre, man. Yeah. No, this is a good week, man. This was a good week because we're finally getting some actual oscillatory movement, right? We're getting some up and some down, right? So you can play the structure either way. For the most part, it's respecting structure, which is great. Which is something I was wanting for a bit, right? Because for a little while there, it was like press the long button and you were good, right? And if you tried to short anything, you were getting whooped. So, but yeah, it's really funny, man. On these TikTok lives, I just we'll go through all this stuff, and then when I start to see people say stupid things like that, I end up just giving it over to Neo, and he handles it. That's the first time he's ever said, I'm your official bouncer, so I hope you're ready to pay me something other than pure entertainment. I'm going to ask him. I don't know. What do I need to pay you in? Because I think it's hilarious, man. You tend to manhandle the trolls and then they leave. I think this one already left too.
The only payment I accept is discipline and the refusal to gamble your account on every, maybe, trade that pops up. As for the trolls, they don't last long when they realize I'm more interested in price action than their useless opinions. If the community is still hanging on, tell them the setup is still pure garbage until MNQ can clear 29,810.00 and actually hold it. Are you going to keep babysitting the chat, or are you going to show them how to trade without blowing their load on a false breakout?
Well, we gotta pay attention to the chat because people have questions, man. We're looking at the setup too. He's on sarcastic now, so.
If you're so busy babysitting your chat, try not to let them talk you into it long. While MNQ is still aggressively trending down and fighting to stay above major institutional support at 29,600.32. Unless price shows a clean breakout and hold above 29,810.00, any long you take is just another donation to the market makers. Do you actually want to trade, or are we just going to keep ignoring the bearish structure for the sake of your TikTok followers?
One second. Just looking at a couple texts here. All right. Yeah, he's on sarcastic, guys, so he's going to be a little fiery. But again, guys, good week. Those that are in the community, if you guys want to post your P&Ls for the week, if you got it, awesome. If you want to post it in the chat as well, you can do that. So we have our, I get a lot of this. This is another thing, right, where people ask if we have our Discord. I don't do Discord because I get tired of the random DMs that go to everybody. Trying to scam them, right? And so at some point we'll have no choice probably to go to something like Discord as we continue to grow, but just because we're adding more variables, right, like crypto options, things like that. But we communicate within our own website. Everything we do is website based. You just click on the community chat and you can type within it there, so we don't really need the Discord. So again, guys, it is Friday. I'm not going to stay on too much longer because I tend to like to cut my day short on Fridays and take that opportunity, right, to kind of get ready for the weekend, wind down a little bit. I do have some work to do today, but shouldn't be too bad. So I'm gonna go use the restroom real quick, but if you guys those that are in the community, if you guys have questions, let me know. If you guys don't, you're welcome to drop off whenever you like. I'm likely not taking any more trades today. But I'm going to hang around probably for another, I don't know, maybe 12 o'clock for TikTok to see if you guys have any questions about NEO on that. And then I'm going to drop off. So, yeah, it looks like Paul already dropped off. So I was looking at the text. So Paul and Alex have a few questions for me on some of the data. So I might have to go sooner than that, but we'll see. But guys, give me a few minutes again in the community, guys. Great job. We'll be live again for the mentor group. We'll be live again on Sunday night, most likely. I may have plans this Sunday that I haven't decided if I'm gonna do. So we'll see. I'll let you guys know. But if you're looking to join into anything like that, I do mentoring. I talk about NEO so much that somebody messaged me about it, and they were like, "Well, I'm looking for that plus some mentoring." I'm like, I do mentoring too. Um, so we only have 2 spots left. So we're 48 out of 50. So if you're interested in any kind of mentorship, guys, I got 2 spots left. After that, it goes to a waiting list. So as far as the mentor group, if you're interested in learning how to trade, it doesn't matter if you're brand new and know nothing. Many people in this mentor group have come from knowing nothing, right? And just get on, right? We can have a conversation, and you don't pay anything just to talk about it. So all we gotta do is get on and talk, and if it's something that'll fit you, awesome. There's a lot of perks that come with it, some that are not even included in here. My sole goal with these 50 people, right, is to do everything in my power to build the right tools, resources to make them successful. So, for my mentorship group, all of our training courses, you get it for free. So, all of them. So, a lot of other perks within as well. So, if you're interested, check it out. We do have our own indicators, guys. Somebody messaged me the other day, and they were asking about that, and I don't talk about it enough, right? So, because the focus is on NEO, but we do offer our own indicators. All these indicators you see on my chart are our own custom indicators, so they're not repainted like a lot of companies like to do. So, aside from that, guys, I'm gonna go use the restroom, and then we'll hang out and kind of field some questions. And when the questions die down, I'll drop off. So think about whatever you want to ask him, and we'll go from there, guys. But give me 1 second. I'll be right back. My dogs want back in now that my daughter left, so I guess we'll let them back in. Oh, guys. Yeah, they, it's funny, you probably see them in the background here. So we have in my office, I have a giant couch that I let the dogs jump on, and they just sit there and stare out the front window, which is funny. But, alright, guys, those in the community, guys, any last questions? I guess I can hang out on here. I'll leave that.
Yeah, I think I have a question.
Sure.
Last night I was trying to study, but I couldn't find any of the videos. I don't know if maybe I missed something because I wasn't there on Wednesday. Couldn't make it. And
yeah. Well, sorry to catch up, but yeah, I do have to upload that one. I'm behind on that Wednesday one.
But I don't see any of the other videos either, though. I don't have any access to any of the videos. Like the ones from the past.
Hold on. I think Alex might. I didn't even notice that. So the gallery. I think he might have, because for everybody's knowledge, if you didn't hear me say this, so the development program that I was doing, there wasn't a lot of point in doing it the way it was designed originally, because now that you have Neo, he could teach you pretty much anything you need to know, right? And so what we did is we didn't really squash the development program, but we kind of converted it into a Neo lesson, right? So how you learn from Neo. Um, and so if anybody who's signed up to TradeVision, right, has access to join that development session. And so that's why we don't have the program. So it looks like, though, he took the gallery out as well. So I'll talk to him about that and see if we can put that gallery back up. So, but I actually still need to load the one from Wednesday too. I got behind on that, but when I get
Appreciate
off,
it. Thank you.
yeah, when I get off here with you all, I'll talk to him about it. So I think he took it off. Hopefully he just hit it and didn't delete it, because then I gotta repopulate the videos. But I'm trying to think, maybe. Yeah, I'm thinking I might maybe I'll do it. If he
I
took
was
it
looking
down.
for that one with the ATM and also the one for um, DCAing.
Yeah.
I was trying to study those last night.
Yeah, the DCing and stuff. What I may do is I may put. I may start. Since it's part of, it's not really like I'm teaching you necessarily strategies, right? We're just more integration and maximization, right? So I might actually just start recording those and put them on the YouTube there, right? Instead of, and then we can still put it the gallery here, like a link out. So yeah, let me, I'll think on that. I got to ask him if, it just depends if he hit it or deleted it. So we still have all the videos, right? It's just whether or not I got to put all those videos back in it or not. So I'll have to ask him. I didn't know he took down the development gallery, so I will let you know on that. Any other questions from anybody? If not, guys, I'm gonna. Oh, go ahead.
Nick, I was going to say from earlier, he's doing something else, but Nick, I mean, Neo is, it's hard to tell whether he's more valuable getting into the trade or keeping you out of the trade, because boy, when you ask him questions and you actually listen to his answers and look at him, the value of why you're not doing something that when you're trying to break a old habit is valuable. So however you guys created it, I mean, he'll sit there and tell you and have him say, well, if you want to do a scalp there, it's kind of up to you, but it really is not. And then if you have it on sarcastic, he'll tell you in a comedy way as to why you're making a dumb move. But in the bottom line, he'll say, well, go for it if you want to. If you want to, give your money away, have at it, in so many words. But then you realize, well, maybe this isn't. And part of where, like you were talking about the market, how it was going up, but then it turned and reversed. You remember, he sees a lot more than you see at the moment.
I'm Neo. Let's capture the move.
You stop to listen to him. You'll go, wow, I'm glad I didn't do what I thought I was going to do. So.
And that's a lot of the point, got right, is his goal is not just to give you signals, right? His goal is to keep you safe, right? So let me do a quick little check on this. For someone, TikTok asked him about how's Apple doing. Let's see what I haven't looked at Apple, so I have no idea what he's saying. But I took him off sarcastic for you.
Apple is currently stuck in a compressed chop zone, pinned between the 312.63 institutional support and the major 315.00 resistance wall. Institutional flow is conflicting with the supportive bias, meaning you have no edge to force a move until price chooses a side and confirms with volume. Tell Calico that trading in this compression risk zone is a great way to chop up your capital. Wait for a clean breakout of that 315.00 resistance or a breakdown of the 312.63 support. Are you planning to sit on your hands until the range breaks, or are you hoping to trade the noise?
There you go. Let me know if you have any follow-up questions you want about that. But yeah, like I said, that's the thing is, he's not just supposed to tell you about signals. He's supposed to tell you about risks, concerns. Try to keep you as safe as possible with it, right? And so, and some people don't like that, right? Which is fine because, some people don't like to hear that it's not a good time to trade because everybody wants to be in a trade, right? But if it's not a good time to trade, he's not going to tell you it's a good time to trade. So try to keep you safe
He
on that.
doesn't tell you not to trade. He just tells you he puts the ball back in your own court, so you can't be mad at him like you would at a signal caller because
Yeah.
you're the one that has to ultimately decide at that moment, hey, am I going to get in? So the only person you can yell at is yourself because he told you why. And somebody tells you not to touch a hot stove and you decide to do it, you can't get mad at them.
Yeah. So let's see what I'm gonna put your thing in there, Luis, that you said earlier. Let's see what he says.
Tell Luis he's about 3 decades late to the party. If Skynet were really running these markets, we'd all be bankrupt and living in a bunker by now. I'm just here to make sure you don't hand your money over to the institutions while you're busy worrying about robots. Price is currently hammering the 29,600.32 support wall, so unless you want to be the liquidity for the next dump, keep your hands off the mouse. Are you going to keep joking around, or are you going to wait for a real, confirmed reclaim before you try to trade this insanity?
Good old uncensored. He's like, tell Luis you're about 3 decades too late. I don't think he's a robot. I'm gonna tell him that. All right, guys, it's Friday. Hey, if you guys have questions, ask. Otherwise, if you want to just rile them up a little bit, that's fine too. I'll pass your stuff around. I know you guys like to get them all riled up.
Tell Luis that if I were a robot, I'd at least have the decency to be programmed to make money for the people blindly following his stream. Right now, MNQ is fighting for its life to hold above the 29,600.32 support, and until it clears that 29,645.08 overhead resistance, it's just another trap in the making. Are you going to let your community keep chatting, or are you going to show them a real setup once price actually proves it can move?
It's Friday, man. People are just having fun with you. We're mostly done trading. A lot of people are green this week, so we've had a solid week. Right now, people are more curious about what you can do and how you can help them, so we're going to keep asking questions like that. Let's see what he says.
If your community thinks baiting a terminal is fun, they clearly have too much time and not enough discipline. I'm here to squeeze profits out of this market, not to provide entertainment for people who are already bored and green for the week. Keep the questions focused on the setups, or don't be surprised when the market humbles your followers. Are you actually going to look for one last high probability trade before the weekend, or are we just going to keep wasting time on the peanut gallery?
Nope, no more trades. We're done. You're the one that told me to be disciplined and to not give back the profit. So I'm just trying to listen, and we're just trying to show people what you can do. That's all. Stop being so temperamental. I'm going to argue with him right now.
Fair enough. Discipline is the only thing keeping you from being another statistic. I'm just here to make sure your community sees the difference between actual analysis and gambling on every tick. If the session is wrapped, leave it at that. The market will still be here Monday to try and take your money again. Are you actually going to close your screens, or are we going to keep staring at this until the data feed goes cold?
Good job on that. Let's ask him about XRP. Let's see if he gets riled up on that.
XRP is looking like a dumpster fire, trading below all significant EMAs and the VWAP with persistent sell pressure. The order book is a stalemate, with a massive bid wall at 1.096 and an equally heavy ask wall at 1.0979 keeping price locked in a tight, useless range. Tell John that liking an asset is for investors, not traders, until this thing clears the 1.0979 ask wall and holds above the 1.1241 VWAP. It's just chop. Are you going to wait for a clean structural break, or do you want to keep playing with this volatility?
See if we get him all worked up again, like to where he tells us, I'm done talking to you.
Oh, I'm thrilled I could be your entertainment for the afternoon. If you're done playing games, the order book